like blast beats. I love blast beats. And that's exactly what you fucking get when you listen to Waiting for the End to Come by Cataclysm. I discovered Cataclysm years and years ago, before this one came out, and I think it was 2013. My first exposure to them was Epic the Poetry of War, which I'm pretty sure came out in like 2000, 2001 or something like that. And that marked their turn from straight fucking skull-crushing death metal to the more melodic sort of death metal shit. That being said, you know, they're still heavy. They're still Cataclysm. They don't have, you know, they didn't implement clean singing like Scar Symmetry likes to do, and they never sacrificed heaviness for anything, really. They got signed to Nuclear Blast, which is, you know, that's an achievement for a band. Being signed to a big label such as that, that's a huge fucking deal. I'm not saying, you know, you should get signed to a label. I'm not saying that that's how you know you've made it as a fucking musician. I personally, I would get signed if I wanted, not if I wanted to, but like, if I had the opportunity to get signed, I'd take it, but I wouldn't go out of my way. I wouldn't try to impress the labels. I'd make the music that I want to make. But that's neither here nor there. That's a bit of a moot point. But anyway, Waiting for the End to Come. This is an album that I hold near and dear to me. My heart. I know a lot of lame asses who would say that this album sucks shit, that it's too overproduced, that it's just a failed attempt at making death metal. But we gotta take it for what it is, and that's just, it's another release from a band that just keeps on putting out fantastic music. People like to say that Morazio has stupid highs, and that they were much better before he left his primary position as a bass player. And you know, the original vocalist, he was pretty cool. He was good at what he did. But Morazio, he brings a flair. He brings something new to the table here, and I shouldn't be saying new to the table, but his vocals are a bit of a trademark at this point. It kind of sets him aside from everybody else. He's not exactly the driving force of the band, but he gives you something to say. Oh, hey, I know those guys. That's Cataclysm. I know that vocalist. I like him. I like his voice. I like the way he projects himself. His highs in a lot of the older stuff between 2002 and 2013, they were kind of annoying. They sounded like a 13-year-old trying to get what, 13-year-old girl trying to get what she wants when her parents refuse to buy her that new iPhone S6 33.5 Mark 10, whatever the fuck we're at now. They sounded fairly fucking annoying. It's almost like Beyond Creation's eyes. But that's not the only thing to be listening to when you listen to a Cataclysm album. Now, the first track on the album is a little off-putting, because I don't feel like their riff arrangements flow too well. We're gonna throw the drums out, up to the side, because we already established that the drums are they're damn near perfect on this album. Lame asses who don't like blast beats can go fuck off. If you really like those fast double kick beats, double kick drum beats that are just always going, always there, ever present, to the point where it just sounds like a background drone sort of deal, this is for you. If you like your double kick and you like consistent double kick, this one is for you. But anyway, it's first track, Fire. it sounds strange. I don't know. The chorus is just, it's clunky. The vocal melodies aren't really interesting enough. It's clearly a filler, and it's really strange to start your album off with a filler. Yeah, I'm not against filler, unlike a lot of lame asses out there. Filler is, it's a good way to kill time. You don't have to pride yourself on your filler. Obviously, the pride comes from the songs you use as singles. That's what shows off your album. But don't start your album with filler. Your arrangements are important. This is key. If they were to start their record with something like the second track, If I Was God, I'd Burn Them All. That song starts with, it starts with the sample from the Book of Eli. If you were to flip, no, fuck it. We're gonna take Fire, put it here, and we're gonna move, If I Was God, put it at the beginning, then we're gonna go a couple tracks down, and we're gonna take, Kill the Elite, and we're gonna throw it as the second track, and we're gonna replace it with Fire. You know, that's just one of the few changes I would make to the arrangement of this album. You know, that's not my call, though. I can't complain about it. I can say that it's, you know, I can say that it sounds like shit, but I can't truly complain about it, because there's nothing I can fucking do about this. It wasn't my call, it's not my album, it doesn't kill the album, it doesn't build up steam with, you know, from the opening moments, but the second that riff opens up, you know, open this fucking riff up! When that riff opens up, when the sample's over in track number 2, you see what this album has in store for you. This songwriting, these lyrics, the pacing, the fucking speed, it sets the tone for what you're about to experience, and that's what this is. It's an experience. Sure, it might seem a little high and dry and done before, but we're in the 2010s. There's not a whole lot that hasn't been done before. There's been literally a song released that has a fucking guitar solo used by the helicopter sounds in Apocalypse Now. There's things that have been done that nobody wants to even try to refine and do better, because it's like, first off, many people don't know about it, and second, you know, you don't want to fuck with that song's legacy, but maybe sometimes you gotta make it better. And I think that what Cataclysm is doing here is they're just taking that formula and they're doing it again and again and again, and they're just making it sound better and better every time they do it. I can't, you know, argue that this is a bad album, because it's not. This is an album I would suggest that you put in your fucking collection. Don't even just stream it. Don't download it. Buy it. If you like to collect albums, you buy it. I own it. It was one of the first couple of albums I bought as a kid. Not as a kid, but as like an angsty fucking teenager. But yeah, this was one of the first couple of albums I remember buying. And I bought it because I bought the digipack because it looked awesome. The artwork is so fucking cool. I wish I had it on a flag or on a t-shirt. Maybe I can find that. Who fucking knows? It's awesome. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, blast beats. You're getting a lot of blast beats. They don't feel tedious or overdone. It feels like Cataclysm. The production on the drums sounds amazing. Like, mwah. It sounds crisp, it sounds clear, it's a production that really suits Cataclysm. A lot of people, primarily black metal fans, they're always like, "Oh, you sold out, mate. Your production sounds like shit. You overproduced it. It's polished. It sounds like absolute bullshit." And I like underproduced tin can, fucking, you know, Saint Anger snare. I like music that sounds like it was done underwater in someone's garage that was lit on fire and raining acid. I like shitty production. But I also have a soft spot. It's not even a soft spot. I have an admiration for actual production. Value that's valued at over $1.59. Plus, not even plus tax. Without tax. $1.49 without tax. Production adds to the overall sound of an album. And in this case, it's just another factor. The production is like an instrument. It's used properly. There's a tone that they're trying to achieve, and that tone, it can be done with this production. Yeah, sure, it sounds squeaky clean and sounds good, but that's what it is. It's good. It's not bad. Obviously, it's not bad if I just said it was good. But people like to complain about the bands on Nuclear Blast because they're good enough to have a well-produced, well-funded mix, master, and production. It's not something we should be judging a band like Cataclysm for. This is part of their evolution. They changed their sound, and now they're changing the way that they produce their albums. Cool! We're going somewhere here. This is a step in the evolution for the band. I gotta say it twice so people in the back can hear me. There really isn't anything wrong with this album, except for one thing. A lot of melodic death metal bands, you know, the crappy Arch Enemy is known for this. Even Omnium Gatherum does this. It's the use of chunky riffs, a lot of chugging, chunky sections. That gets annoying sometimes. Chunky riffs, when they're done too many times, get annoying. If you have a chunky riff or two in a song, cool, yeah, use it. That's cool, that's good, I can dig that. But what I can't get behind is when it takes too long, when it overstays its welcome. And in a lot of these songs, chuggy riffs overstay their welcome. Welcome? What the fuck was that? And it's one of those things that I can see turning people off. But it's also one of those things that can gather, you know, let's say like a core kid. It can pull them in, even though Cataclysm is pretty much boomer metal at this point. Their demographic seems to be 30-year-old fans. I don't see a whole lot of people talking about Cataclysm anyway, but that's neither here nor there. There's a lot of well-written sections of music here in Waiting for the End to Come. This record has some really memorable moments. Which takes the cake for me is the last track, aside from the bonus, is Elevate. Elevate implements a source of atmosphere. Yeah, it's kind of chuggy, but they just add this creativity, this little twist to it. It changes up the formula, and it just sounds great. It gives you something to just stop and come in your pants to, you know. I always get excited whenever I hear this track. It's a high point on the album. They close it with a fucking bang, man. And that's what it is. It's closing it with a bang. It has probably the least amount of blast beats in the album. And that's okay, because it sounds phenomenal. It sounds like a song Where am I going with this? It sounds cool. Sounds groovy. Sounds awesome. Groovy, that's another word to describe this album. It's a groovy album. I guess you could say that the chuggy parts could add a bit of groove to it. I really need to write a script for these things. I can't do this anymore. This gets a solid 8 out of 10 from me. The chuggy just doesn't do it too much for me. But the riffs, the production, the drumming's the high point of this fucking album. I can't suggest this album enough to people. I talk about it a lot. You'll hear me referring to it a lot. I don't know what else I can say about this. It's awesome. That's the word I'm going to use. It. Awesome. 8 out of 10. Awesome. Would listen to again. And again. And again. And again. If I was trapped on a desert island, I wouldn't bring this album. But, maybe that's a different discussion for a different day. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this this boring video of me repeating myself and rambling like a fucking moron. But it's just the way she goes, boys. It's how we do it around here. Alright, keep your eyes open for another video. I'm planning something big. A big series on top of these reviews. Yeah, keep your eye open. It's very fucking ambitious. Let's hope it works out. Thanks.